Hi guys, good afternoon from London, Thursday 28th of March, just gone midday here. Just having a quick look over the calendar and then the charts at where we're trading and some possible areas to be aware of for a couple of markets. This morning, relatively quiet on the data front. In half an hour we have the final GDP reading out of the States. Not expecting too much in the way of reaction unless we were at the further ends of the ranges. 1.8 the low end, 2.7 the top end. If we were to get either of those, then the dollar related assets would have a decent move, but not really expecting that to happen. Final reading, of course. Initial jobless claims out at the same time, usually a non-event. Not expecting too much to happen there. 1 p.m. however, UK time, CPI numbers out of Germany, preliminary figures, so could expect something for that. And then it really slows down in terms of top tier data for the remainder of the day. Just having a look at the markets, starting with the S&P. A couple key ranges to be aware of. The low from yesterday, 27.90, and the low of the week around the S1 is a decent point. The high of the day, also the high of yesterday afternoon, and then the R1, yesterday's high, the sort of three significant points to be aware of. More shorter term, probably worth getting on a bit of a trend line. You can see these lows of the sessions getting higher. Possibility that we do get the breakdown would be a good opportunity. If we continue to get squeezed, then maybe the break higher as we come into quarter end. This market is behaving a bit unusually. Speaking of the S&P and looking at a longer term chart, we're approaching over the next couple of days potential for a golden cross. You can see the death cross here back in December, and the market did react pretty badly to the downside, so it would be worth keeping an eye on what happens here. However, you do have a bit of RSI divergence. You can see those highs getting higher, but the RSI getting lower, so signalling a momentum shift perhaps to the downside. So one to keep an eye on over the coming days, how we price either of those in. Elsewhere, gold has broken out this flag you can see here yesterday, breaking to the downside, retesting, and since then we've had a decent push lower to some levels not seen really since about a week or so ago. So worth keeping an eye on any sort of retest of that level. We know when gold pushes out either way, it can really go. So potential now for the bias for the shorter term to be to the downside, having started the week more positively. Oil, a couple of areas to the downside to be aware of after another morning where we've seen a significant push lower. 58, which has been so significant over the last year and a half, still something I'd have marked up on the chart. You can see a couple of times we've come down to test it as a low before that high from March, and previous levels last year as well. Bit of a trend line respected going back from the 15th to the 22nd and then the low of today, so maybe the further push needs to see a break of that and we get a test of 58. Low of yesterday, just above today's S1, 58.79, another area I'll be keeping an eye on along with that low of the morning. So this area around 59s should be pretty significant, I'm sure. Euro has, after that dovish Fed and then poor CPI, continued this overall trend that we've had really since the beginning of the year. Not too far away from that low that we made at the back end of March. I would imagine that will come in over the coming days or sessions. Probably a little bit more needed to get that push through, and whether the CPI data has any impact on that, or the GDP figures, of course, as well, will be one to bear in mind. Any questions as usual, please do let me know. I hope you all have a good trading day.